Have you heard about the new rule for asylum applicants under the Biden administration? Yes, this interim final rule will significantly impact the processing time for all asylum seekers. Hi, I'm Andre Mayer, immigration attorney and an immigrant myself. For our tip of the week, we'll discuss 3 things you need to consider regarding Biden's new asylum rules. Before I begin, please click the subscription button and hit the notification bell for you to get updates on our new immigration content. Also, feel free to leave a comment below on your thoughts about or ideas about today's topic, and please check out our other videos. Let's get to it. Biden administration announced its new asylum rules, which took effect May 31st of this year to hasten the processing of asylum applicants. This interim final rule is also known as the Procedures for Credible Fear Screening and Consideration of Asylum, Withholding of Removal, and Cap Protection Claims by Asylum Officers. Only the government can make it sound so damn long. However, new rule is going to be rolled out in phases and will only apply on a limited basis at the moment. To understand the rule better, here are 3 tips for you to consider. Tip number 1, check if you're included under the new asylum rule. As mentioned, the rule will have limited application at first, with only a few hundred applicants per month. So who's included? First, those placed under expedited removal proceedings are included. Similar to the current procedure, these individuals encountered by Customs and Border Patrol Protection, CBP, at the border will be transferred to the Immigration Customs Enforcement, or ICE, detention. Second, those in 2 selected detention facilities in Texas will be included. So if you're not detained in Texas and you're not in expedited removal, you're probably not one of the select few that get this new program. A credible fear interview will be conducted in these locations by asylum officers before being referred for an asylum merits interview, AMI. Third, they must have the intention of having their residence in one of the following 6 cities: Boston, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Newark, that's us, or San Francisco. And by the way, Newark is right next to New York. Now, moving on to our next tip. Tip number 2, consider how the new rule will affect the asylum process. Here are the changes to the asylum process under the new rule. First, an asylum officer from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, or USCIS, will conduct a credible fear interview to assess if you are eligible for asylum, withholding of removal, or Convention Against Torture protection. If you pass, it would already be considered the same as having filed an asylum application. This is important for asylum seekers who must file an application within 1 year from their entry in the United States. That's huge. Let me repeat that. If you pass a credible fear interview, it's equivalent to having filed an asylum application. If you fail or you get a negative credible fear determination, you will have to request reconsideration from an immigration judge. Second, a referral will be made for an asylum merits interview after passing the credible fear interview. Asylum merits interview will happen between 21 and 45 days after the credible fear interview. So essentially 3 to 6 weeks. Take note, you may submit additional evidence or amend the record made during the credible fear interview 7 to 10 days prior to your asylum merits interview. Keep in mind, so we're talking about 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, very short period of time. Third, the asylum officer will decide on whether to grant you asylum or withholding or Convention Against Torture. If the asylum officer grants your asylum, you will receive a grant letter indicating the applicable benefits and related procedures. Essentially, you won your asylum application. However, if the asylum officer denies your asylum, your case will be referred to the Immigration Court's Executive Office of Immigration Review, EOIR, for a streamlined removal proceeding. The asylum officer will also include whether you are eligible for withholding or deferral of removal based on the evidence presented to USCIS. Under the streamlined removal proceeding, the immigration judge will review your case and claims and assess your eligibility. If you are found to be ineligible for relief or protection, a removal order will be issued. That is why it's critical for you to be able to be present, to present the necessary evidence and support your claims during the credible fear interview and asylum merits interview. It is also important to know how these rules can affect you positively or negatively. That's why our next tip is tip number 3, take note of the advantages and disadvantages. As briefly mentioned, the new rule speeds up the processing of asylum applications incredibly. Instead of waiting for years, you can get your claims processed within months. Additionally, your credible fear interview already counts as your asylum application. Essentially, the application for asylum and appearance or hearings before an immigration judge is skipped or streamlined. However, this can be a double-edged sword. The faster time frame also means you will have limited time to get the necessary evidence for your case or to access legal counsel. In the worst case, it may hinder the delivery of due process to your case. For support for your case, you can risk losing the protection of asylum and getting deported. Nevertheless, new asylum rule is still on a phased rollout, with several groups raising concerns and monitoring its implementation to help build its credibility, address concerns, and increase its capacity for the better. We can hope that any deficiencies will be fixed. If you're about to embark on this journey and are not certain about your case or simply need assistance on which steps to take, please feel free to contact us or another experienced immigration attorney. At the end of the day, you should not do this alone. Remember, the path to asylum can be tricky and daunting, but you don't have to do it alone. We're here to expertly support and guide you along the way. If you find the video informative, like and share it with your friends who are also applying or are thinking about their own immigration journey. And if you have any related ideas for future videos or would like me to talk particular immigration-related topic, go ahead, let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, stay healthy and be safe, my friends.